On October 22nd, 2007, while we had been traveling and out of town, that house caught fire and everything in it and everything we owned burned to the ground. Just cars, everything we owned, everything the kids had, everything we had, collectibles, all kinds of cool stuff gone. And it was not fun. It was a major setback. It hurt us bad. Where was the good in it? Well, at the time, it's hard to see it, but you keep your chin up. I mean, we planted actually an American flag in the driveway. Everything was gone. And we wrote on the flag, "We'll be back." And we were back, and we did. We eventually built on that same location 2 years later, a beautiful, magnificent home that was even nicer than the one we lived in and all that stuff. But what happened during those 2 years? Well, it was one travesty after another. We ended up having to move 6 times. 6 times. It was at the time when the banks were failing. So we moved into this house immediately, rented this big home. We're paying, whatever, 12 grand a month. This is, a long time ago. And the guy didn't make his mortgage payments. So I'm on stage, out of town. Beverly gets a knock at the door. All the kids are young. And, hey, you got to be out of here in 3 days. This house being foreclosed on. What? We've been paying rent. Well, the guy hasn't been paying his mortgage. We had to move everything. And by the way, we own nothing. So everything was rented. So it's go all the way back to the rental company. Everything starts over. We got 6 young kids. Move to the next house. The next house, I pay the rent. And I say to this guy, "Hey, I'm looking to buy a place, but I want to see that you're making your payments every month. So I want to see a closed statement every month." Guy sent me a statement every month dutifully telling me he was making his payments. Turned out he falsified it. True story. 4 months later, I'm on stage. Beverly calls me. "You're not going to believe it. I got a knock on the door. This house is in foreclosure. The guy hasn't been making the payments." We ended up moving 6 times with 6 kids under the age of 12. We moved 6 times in the space of 18 months. We ended up at one stage moving into, we had another property and had a little guest house on it. And the house was getting remodeled. So we moved into the guest house, tiny little place, and the kids were sleeping on the floor, the whole thing. So where's the happiness in this story, Brian? Well, I can tell you that the family that moved back into the new house was a lot closer than the family that had the house burned down. We were thick as thieves. The next latent tail effect of this, what came for our good, is here were kids that were raised in affluence who, because of the fire and because of what we went through, are completely not materialistic. People are always shocked when they meet my kids. They're great kids, but they're shocked how grounded they are. They're always shocked. And I think we've done a good job, Bev and I, doing our best raising those kids and putting those good principles into them. But I can tell you that one of the catalysts was the fire we went through, the moves that we had, becoming unattached to the things of this world. And the fact of the matter is, it's produced a much tighter, much closer knit group. That which we thought was meant for our destruction was meant for our good.